artificial adversarial intelligence gaining the upper hand against malware. I'm Tonya Hall, and joining me is Dr. Una Mae O'Reilly of MIT IBM Watson AI Lab. Welcome, Dr. O'Reilly.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Give us a brief summary of your professional background and the work that you do.
Well, I'm a computer scientist, and my interest is in artificial intelligence and machine learning. And I have a expertise in applying and inventing new techniques, particularly in the realm of cybersecurity.
There's a machine learning, artificial intelligence arm race going on in the cybersecurity domain today, right? So describe the state of play on each side.
Well, the state of play is quite sophisticated, but it has a pattern that we see over and over again in all sorts of human behavior. And that's that, there's adversaries. One side has an objective which is really in conflict with another. And in cyberspace, those are attacks, and they're being launched against networks and software systems that are trying to defend themselves. And what happens is that every time a network tries to defend itself, the adversaries or the attackers get smarter and smarter, and they use their adaptation skills to come up with new attacks. And those new attacks then have to be countermeasured by the defenders. And what happens is an ensuing sort of arms race taking place in technology in the environment of cyberspace.
Explain the concept of adversarial dynamics as it's used to gain the upper hand against AI-based malware.
Well, it's quite a recent development that we've been using machine learning to train detectors for malware. And when we train these detectors, unfortunately, they have blind spots. And it is possible through white box knowledge or black box interaction with a detector for an attacker to find its weak spots. So there's a new field of thread of research in my community, which is around trying to harden detectors so that when adversaries try to make a counter move to evade a detector, it can be harder for them to do that.
What are the strengths of adversarial dynamics over model-based malware detectors, and what technical hurdles must be overcome to further enhance its performance?
Well, an adversarially hardened detector is very similar to a machine-trained detector, except that when we train it, we try to anticipate what an attacker might do in terms of being able to spot particular vulnerabilities in the decision boundaries the model is making. So an adversarially hardened detector reflects that extra training where the adversary's moves have been anticipated, and it's got a more protective surface in its decision boundaries to prevent the attacker from being able to make countermeasures.
Where are we in the deployment of these tools to defend against real-world AI-based malware?
Well, I think that adversarial attacks on machine learning models were first discovered in the realm of images. We were building deep learning systems which had amazing image detection capabilities, and it's in that scope that it was realized that these deep learning models also have vulnerabilities and can be adversarially attacked. But those adversarially hardened systems were taking into account that it was images that were going to be processed. And images are continuous representations of fixed length. And they have no constraints. All you need to be able to do as an adversary is perturb the image in a way that doesn't change its appearance, but that can actually fool the discriminatory boundary of the model. It gets to be really different when you move to malware in some significant ways. When you are trying to look for and detect malware within a binary file, you have to work within the assumption that the adversary is going to manipulate a discrete representation to try and fool the detector and land up on the other side of the discriminatory boundary. And you have to make sure that you respect anticipating that the adversary is going to flip those bits in a way that doesn't break the malware. It's just going to flip the bits in the ways that sort of mask and sort of work around the malicious code that needs to be inserted by the attacker.
what technical hurdles must be overcome to further enhance adversarial hardened system performance?
Well, we have a lot more work to do. Some of it is theoretical and fundamental, and other work will be empirical. This particular body of work that I've just completed really makes an assumption that the attacker has access to my model. It's a white box assumption. We have to work also on the assumption that attackers could have black box models, and in which case that means that the attacker can't actually see the parameters of my model in the deep learning sense, but can make queries, and by trying different things with my model can determine what the right thing is to fool it. And in that case, the real the new problem is one of saying how many queries do I have to force my adversary, the attacker, to take before he can evade the model? Because in that case, I have in the case that it's many queries needed, I'll probably detect that behavior before it happens.
Dr. Una May O'Reilly of MIT IBM Watson AI Lab. If somebody wants to connect with you, maybe they want to find out more about your work, how can they do that, Una?
Oh, that would be great. I have a research group here at MIT. It's called Alpha, Any-Scale Learning for All. And our website URL is alphagroup.csale.mit.edu. You can find our publications there, and you can find email contacts there as well. So feel free to reach out.
Thank you so much again for joining us. And find more of my interviews right here, or go to tonyahall.net. Thanks for watching.